The chandelier fractured light into 1,000 diamonds across raised champagne flutes. 300 guests in emerald gowns and midnight tuxedos stood frozen, waiting. Marcus Hale held his glass high, smile wide as a billboard. "To innovation," he began. The click of heels on marble cut through his voice. A waitress emerged from the shadows near the service door. Ivory uniform pressed crisp, dark hair pulled back tight. Her tray trembled, but her eyes didn't. "That money isn't yours," 4 words, dropped like stones into still water. The ripples reached every corner of the grand ballroom. Champagne stilled mid-sip. Conversations died. Marcus's smile held, but his knuckles whitened around the crystal stem. "Excuse me?" His tone dripped charm and warning. Maya Thompson stepped closer, tray lowering. Her name tag caught the light. Thompson. Marcus's face shifted. Recognition, then calculation, then something harder. "That money," Maya repeated, voice steady now, "was built on stolen work." "My mother's work," the room inhaled as one. Security moved toward the edges, hands reaching for radios. Marcus recovered fast, that CEO smile snapping back into place like a mask. "Ladies and gentlemen, please forgive this disruption." But Maya held her phone high, screen glowing. Her technical diagram filled the display. Patents, signatures, dates that told a story Marcus had paid millions to bury. The chandelier light caught her face now. Not invisible anymore. 8 hours earlier, Maya's alarm screamed at 4:47 a.m. She slapped it silent, feet hitting cold linoleum before her eyes fully opened. The apartment was cramped. One bedroom split by a curtain, her daughter Zoe asleep on the other side. Maya dressed in the dark. Nursing textbooks stacked on the kitchen counter caught her eye. Pharmacology, anatomy, dreams measured in credit hours and loan applications. She touched her daughter's photo on the fridge. Gap-toothed smile, bright eyes that trusted her completely. 6 years at the Royal Plaza Hotel, 6 years of invisible. Guests looked through her like glass, saw only the tray, the uniform, the function. But invisibility paid rent. It bought groceries. It kept Zoe in a decent school, while Maya clawed toward something better. Tonight was different. The Hale Tech Gala, biggest event of the season. Triple overtime pay. Maya needed every dollar. Zoe's daycare raised rates again, and nursing school applications required fees she'd been saving toward for months. She caught the early bus, city still dark, her reflection ghostly in the window. Marcus Hale's face stared from a discarded business magazine on the seat beside her. "Tech visionary revolutionizes clean energy." His smile perfect, his empire glittering. Maya's mother used to read magazines like that, used to dream of being featured in them. Lorraine Thompson, brilliant and broke, died believing her ideas meant nothing. Maya folded the magazine and left it on the seat. She had a long shift ahead. The gala setup took hours. Ice sculptures, floral arrangements taller than Maya, a champagne tower that cost more than her monthly rent. She moved through it all mechanically, polishing glasses, arranging napkins, becoming part of the elegant machinery. Cocktail hour started at 7. Guests flowed in wearing jewelry that caught light like warnings. Maya circulated with her tray, offering champagne and disappearing before anyone could focus on her face. She was refilling her tray in the service corridor when she heard his voice. The Thompson settlement stays, buried. Marcus Hale stood 20 feet away. Phone pressed to his ear, back to her. "If anyone connects those patterns to her mother's original designs, we're looking at $1 billion lawsuit." Maya's hands froze. Ice cubes rattled in sudden silence. The daughter works service jobs. She doesn't understand the tech. Even if she suspected something, Marcus turned, saw her, saw the tray tilting in her numb hands, saw the name tag Thompson, his face drained color. Their eyes locked across marble in silence. Maya's pulse hammered so loud she thought he must hear it. "I'll call you back." Marcus ended the call slowly. His executive smile appeared, careful and cold. Excellent service tonight. Thank you. He walked past her toward the ballroom. Maya stood there, ice melting onto her shoes, her mother's name echoing in the corridor. The gala bell chimed. Toast time. Maya stumbled into the staff bathroom, locked the door, pressed her back against cold tile. Her lungs couldn't find air. Thompson settlement, patents, her mother's original designs, the fragments she'd spent 3 years ignoring, suddenly assembled themselves into a picture she couldn't unsee. Lorraine Thompson died broke, died exhausted, died fighting lawyers she couldn't afford, while billionaires built empires. Maya had buried her mother, then buried her questions, too tired from work, too focused on survival, too afraid of answers that might break her. But Marcus's voice in that corridor, the panic in his eyes when he saw her name tag. Maya pulled out her phone with shaking hands, searched Lorraine Thompson patent. Nothing came up. Searched Hailtech battery technology patent. The page loaded. Revolutionary renewable energy storage. Filed March 2022. Inventor Marcus Hale. Her mother died February 2022. Maya scrolled deeper. Found a buried forum post from an engineer. Anyone remember Lorraine Thompson's work on ion lattice batteries? Hailtech's design looks remarkably similar. The post was deleted. But the internet remembers. Maya's hands stopped shaking. Something cold and clear settled in her chest. Her mother's voice from years ago. Don't let them erase me, baby, promise. She'd promised. Standing at a hospital bed, holding her mother's hand as the machines beeped their countdown. Through the bathroom door, she heard applause building. The toast was starting, 10 years ago. Their kitchen table covered in sketches. Lorraine Thompson hunched over diagrams, pencil moving fast, coffee gone cold. Maya was 17, watching her mother see things no one else could see. This could change everything. Lorraine held up the drawing, batteries that stored solar energy for months. Cheap to produce, revolutionary. Clean energy accessible to everyone. Not just the rich. Maya believed her. Everyone who knew Lorraine believed her. She was the smartest person in any room, the engineer who solved problems others said were impossible. Then the consultants came. Well-dressed men with contracts and promises. Hailtech wanted to explore possibilities. They paid Lorraine $15,000 for a consultation. Made her sign papers she didn't fully understand because she couldn't afford lawyers to read them. The checks stopped coming. The calls went unreturned. Lorraine fought back, sent emails, made calls, demanded recognition. The lawyers responded with cease and desist letters, harassment claims, threats of litigation she couldn't afford to face. Maya watched her mother shrink, watched brilliance dim under the weight of institutional power. Lorraine stopped sketching, stopped dreaming, started sleeping 16 hours a day. They can't just steal it, Maya had said, 20 years old, furious. Baby, her mother whispered, they already did. And there's nothing we can do. Lorraine died believing that. Died thinking her genius meant nothing. But she made Maya promise. In the hospital, machines beeping hand cold. Don't let them erase me. Maya had nodded, not understanding what it meant, not knowing how to keep it, until tonight. Maya left the bathroom, moved through the service corridor like a ghost. Her mind spun, but her hands were steady now. She pulled out her phone again, searching deeper. Hailtech's patent filing. She expanded the images, fingers pinching screen. The technical diagram loaded in full resolution. Ion lattice structure. Energy density calculations. Material composition ratios identical. Absolutely identical to her mother's notebook. Maya had kept that notebook. Couldn't throw it away after Lorraine died. It sat in her locker right now. She'd brought it tonight for courage, a talisman against long shifts. She'd photographed some pages months ago, thinking maybe someday she'd understand the science. She pulled up those photos now, held them beside Hailtech's patent, the same, line for line, number for number, except Hailtech's version was cleaner, professionally rendered. But the core design, her mother's handwriting was visible in Maya's original photo, signature in the corner, dated April 2021, 1 year before Hale Tech's filing. 11 months before Lorraine's death, Maya's breath came sharp. The ballroom doors stood ahead, golden light spilling through. She could hear Marcus's voice rising, building toward the climactic moment of his toast. To innovation that transforms lives. Her feet moved before her mind caught up. Through the service door, into the ballroom. The chandelier blazed overhead like a sun. 300 faces turned as she walked forward. Tray forgotten on a side table. To the future we're building together. Maya's voice cut through the applause building in the room. That money isn't yours. Silence crashed like breaking glass. Marcus froze mid-toast, champagne tilted. 300 guests stared. Maya felt every eye like a physical weight, but she didn't stop walking. "Excuse me." Marcus's charm snapped into place instantly. That smile, practiced, perfect, designed to make problems disappear. "Ladies and gentlemen, please forgive this disruption." Someone's clearly overwhelmed by the evening. Nervous laughter rippled through the crowd. Security moved along the walls, converging. Maya raised her phone high, screen facing the audience. "This patent," her voice carried across marble and crystal, "the battery technology Hale Tech built its empire on. My mother designed it. Lorraine Thompson. Anyone here remember her?" The laughter died. Guests exchanged glances. Marcus's smile hardened at the edges. "Security, please escort this young woman out." His tone stayed light, but his eyes went cold. "This is neither the time nor place for—" "She died 3 years ago." Maya's voice cracked but held. "Broke, exhausted from fighting your lawyers. You paid her $15,000, made her sign papers she couldn't afford to review, then built $1 billion company on her genius." Murmurs spread through the crowd. Someone whispered, "Thompson." A woman in royal blue gasped, hand flying to her mouth. "Dr. Chen?" Maya turned toward the sound. "You worked with my mother." "Oh, you know I'm telling the truth." Dr. Sarah Chen stood frozen, face pale. Yes, Lorraine was brilliant. The ion lattice design was revolutionary." "Dr. Chen." Marcus's voice cut like a blade. "You signed confidentiality agreements. Multiple NDAs. I'd suggest you remember that before speaking further." Sarah's mouth closed. Her eyes dropped. The crowd watched her surrender in real time. Marcus gestured to security. "Please, this woman is clearly distressed. Let's handle this quietly." He turned to the audience, smile returning. "Innovation has many parents. We've compensated all our consultants appropriately and legally." 2 security guards reached Maya's sides, strong hands on her arms. Her phone screen dimmed as they pulled her backward. The guards escorted Maya through the service door. It closed behind her, muffling the ballroom. Through the walls, she heard applause building, louder now, desperate, trying to drown out what they'd just witnessed. "Give me the phone." The senior guard held out his hand. "It's my property. Hotel policy. Recording devices during private events." His tone left no room for argument. "You want this the easy way or the hard way?" Maya handed it over, watched her evidence disappear into his pocket. Her mother's diagrams, the patent comparisons, everything. They walked her to the loading dock. The hotel manager waited there, arms crossed, face hard. "You're terminated. Effective immediately." She held out a final paycheck, half what Maya was owed. "Sign the release or you get nothing. I didn't do anything wrong. You disrupted a private event, harassed guests, made unfounded accusations against one of our most valued clients." The manager's voice was steel. "Mr. Hale's legal team has already been in contact. Sign or face litigation." Maya's hands shook. Zoe's face flashed in her mind. "Daycare costs. Rent due in a week." She signed. The loading dock door opened to cold night air. They pushed her out gently but firmly. The door closed. The lock clicked. Maya stood in the alley, still wearing her ivory uniform, no phone, no job, no evidence. Inside, through thick walls, she heard champagne corks popping. Celebration sounds. Marcus Hale's empire secure. Her pocket buzzed. She pulled out, not her phone, Her mother's old pager, the one Maya kept charged out of habit, out of grief. A message flashed across the ancient screen. I kept copies. We need to talk. SC Dr. Sarah Chen. The letters glowed green in the darkness. Maya sat in the hotel's basement break room at 2 a.m., still in her uniform. Fired. Blacklisted. Marcus's lawyers had already called. Cease and desist. Defamation threats. A lawsuit that would bury her family for generations. Her locker stood open. Inside, her mother's notebook, the nurse's aide certification she'd worked 2 years to earn, a photo of Zoe. Everything that mattered fit in a canvas bag, no phone. No evidence, no witnesses willing to speak. The break room fluorescents hummed overhead, harsh and clinical. Maya stared at her hands, still steady somehow, though her world had collapsed in 4 hours. Zoe's daycare wouldn't take late payments. Rent was due Friday. Every job application would ask why she left her last position. She pulled out her mother's notebook, fingers tracing the worn cover. Lorraine's handwriting filled every page, equations, sketches, notes in the margins. This changes everything. Accessible energy for everyone. They can't ignore this, but they had. They'd taken it, renamed it, made billions while Lorraine died broke. Maya had promised to keep her mother's memory alive. Instead, she'd just handed Marcus Hale another victory. The silence in the basement pressed down like concrete. Then she remembered. The pager message. Dr. Chen. Maya pulled it out, read the glowing text again. I kept copies. Her hands stopped shaking. She grabbed her bag and ran. The coffee shop was empty at 3 a.m. except for Maya and Dr. Sarah Chen. Sarah slid a thumb drive across the table, her hands trembling. I've been scared for 3 years. Sarah's voice was barely above a whisper. But watching you tonight, watching you risk everything, I can't stay silent anymore. Maya picked up the drive. What's on here? Everything. Emails between Lorraine and Marcus. The original collaboration agreement that promised her co-inventor status. Internal Haletech memos discussing how to minimize her involvement. Cantiers I was forced to sign. Sarah's eyes glistened. Your mother fought so hard. They buried her with paperwork and threats. Maya's throat tightened. Why didn't you speak up before? I have a daughter, too. Student loans. Marcus made it clear what happens to whistleblowers in this industry. Sarah wiped her eyes. But your mother deserves better than my cowardice. Maya opened her laptop, her personal one, ancient and slow. The files loaded. Emails from Marcus to his legal team. The Thompson woman is becoming a problem. Make it go away. Financial. Records showing the $15,000. Payment marked full settlement and release of all. Claims. Lorraine's original designs with timestamps, proving they predated Haletech's patent by 14 months. This is enough, Maya breathed. This proves everything. There's more. Sarah pulled out her phone, opened a contact list. Journalists who've been trying to investigate Haletech's business practices. They're hungry for proof. I can make introductions. Maya photographed every page of her mother's notebook, uploaded everything to 3 different cloud services, backed up the thumb drive twice. She wouldn't lose this evidence again. By dawn, she had 17 emails sent. Reporters, patent lawyers who took cases on contingency, even a documentary filmmaker who'd exposed corporate theft before. One journalist responded within an hour. I've been waiting 3 years for someone to go on record. Let's talk. The exposé dropped on a Tuesday morning. Front page of the Financial Chronicle. Haletech empire built on stolen technology. Deceased engineer's family seeks justice. Maya's phone, borrowed from Sarah, exploded with messages. News vans appeared outside her apartment. Marcus Hale called an emergency press conference for noon. Maya stood in the back of the marble lobby as cameras assembled. She'd changed into a dusty rose sweater and jeans. No uniform now, no invisibility. Just herself. Marcus entered like a king, flanked by lawyers in dark suits. He stepped to the podium, camera flashes erupting. These allegations are baseless. His voice carried authority and dismissal. Disgruntled former employees making wild claims for attention and financial gain. HaleTech has compensated all our consultants appropriately and legally. A reporter shouted, "What about Lorraine Thompson's original designs?" Industry collaboration is complex. Ideas evolve through many hands. You paid her $15,000 for a billion-dollar patent. Marcus's smile tightened. We operate within all legal frameworks. If someone misunderstood the terms of their consulting agreement, that's unfortunate, but Maya pushed through the crowd. Cameras swung toward her. Marcus's words died mid-sentence. I'm not a disgruntled employee. Her voice cut clear through the murmurs. I'm Lorraine Thompson's daughter, and my mother didn't misunderstand anything. She pulled out her laptop, connected it to the lobby's presentation screen. Her mother's notebook filled the wall. Page after page of handwritten designs dated and signed. April 2021, 11 months before your patent filing. Maya clicked to the next image. HaleTech's patent diagram, side by side, identical, line for line. The room erupted. Reporters shouted questions, cameras flashed. Marcus's lawyers leaned in, whispering urgently. Furthermore, Maya's hands didn't shake now. Emails between you and your legal team discussing how to neutralize the Thompson problem. Financial records showing you paid my mother a fraction of what you promised. Testimonies from engineers who worked with her. All documented, all verified. Mr. Hale, how do you respond to these accusations? Marcus gripped the podium. All consulting relationships involve. Standard industry practice requires, you stole my mother's life's work. Maya stepped closer. You built an empire while she died broke, exhausted from fighting lawyers she couldn't afford. You erased her name. You thought no one would notice because she was just a black woman without connections or money. The silence was absolute. Every camera captured Marcus's face, the mask cracking, panic bleeding through. You were wrong. Maya's voice carried across marble and shame. She mattered. Her genius mattered. And I won't let you erase her. A reporter thrust a microphone forward. Mr. Hale, will HaleTech be offering a settlement? Marcus's mouth opened, closed. His lawyers pulled him away from the podium as questions exploded around them. Maya stood in the camera lights, her mother's work displayed behind her, and felt 3 years of silence finally break. 3 months later, Maya stood in her new apartment, 2 bedrooms, natural light, a kitchen table big enough for textbooks and her daughter's art projects. The settlement had been swift once the evidence went public. $300 million to the Thompson estate. Public apology. Lorraine Thompson's name added to the patent as primary inventor. Zoe ran through the living room, laughing, arms full of new toys. Mommy, can we get a puppy now? Maybe. Maya smiled. After we settle in. Her mother's original notebook sat on the mantel, preserved in a glass case. Maya had donated copies to the Smithsonian, to engineering schools, to every place that taught young women they could change the world. The nursing school acceptance letter was framed beside it. Full scholarship, starting fall semester. Dr. Sarah Chen had testified publicly, resigned from HaleTech, and started her own renewable energy consulting firm. She'd offered Maya a job. After graduation, research coordinator, good salary, meaningful work. Marcus Hale had resigned as CEO. HaleTech's board restructured the company, implemented ethics oversight, established a fund for inventors whose work had been undervalued. It wasn't enough, but it was something. Maya touched the glass case, her mother's handwriting visible through it. I kept my promise, Mama. The weight she'd carried for 3 years, the questions, the guilt, the sense that her mother had died believing she was worthless, lifted, gone like smoke. Zoe tugged her hand. Grandma would be proud, right? Yeah, baby. Maya knelt down. held her daughter close. She would be. Outside, the city hummed with evening traffic. Inside, light-filled rooms that had been dark too long. Maya breathed deep and felt something she hadn't felt since her mother died. Peace. The powerful build monuments on stolen ground, counting on silence to cement their theft. They erase names, bury documents, hide behind lawyers and contracts designed to intimidate those who can't afford to fight back. But truth doesn't need permission to exist. It needs someone brave enough to speak it, even when the cost seems unbearable, even when standing alone in a ballroom full of people who benefit from forgetting. Maya learned what her mother always knew. Genius without recognition is theft. Justice delayed isn't justice denied, not if someone refuses to let go. The toast that mattered wasn't Marcus Hale's champagne celebration. It was Maya's quiet promise, whispered over a hospital bed 3 years ago, finally kept. Her mother's name is on the patent now. In textbooks, in museums, in the minds of young engineers who'll read about Lorraine Thompson and know your brilliance matters, even if the world tries to take it without paying. Some interruptions are necessary. Some voices must cut through the applause. Maya Thompson learned that in a ballroom under crystal chandeliers. She interrupted a billionaire's toast and changed what justice looks like. The world doesn't remember the people who stay silent. It remembers the ones who speak.